I just got approved for another credit limit increase on one of my Citi credit cards, going from $7,000 up to now $10,000. And I say another because I've been getting credit limit increases from Citi over the years multiple times. And in today's video, I'll be showing you exactly the best steps to take to put yourself in the best position possible to get approved for credit limit increases, not just with Citi, but any of the major issuers. Now, if you want to understand why asking for credit limit increases and getting approved for them can have such a positive effect on your credit score, stick around toward the end of the video and I'll address that directly with some great on-screen visuals to bring it all to life for you. But in the meantime, let's go right into the steps to take. That way you can get on your own path to getting higher limits right now. Step number 1, allow 6 months to pass. That is from the time you first opened your card account or from the last time you got your previous credit limit increase, which we'll call a CLI for short going forward. Now, this first step, like most of the steps we'll be covering in this video, are just general recommendations. You may be able to get a credit limit increase before, maybe within 3 months with some issuers. Some might make you wait a whole year, but on average, for most issuers, putting you in the best position you can be in, we're going to say around 6 months tends to be a great time frame. That way you're not going to be seeking credit too often and risk getting denied too often, but also showing positive use of your card, payment history, and all that type of stuff. That way the issuer will be more likely to say, hey, yes, we will increase your line because we've seen you have a good track record with us and being a good customer. Step number 2, verify and update your income. That is on your online profile. This is a crucial step because when you think about it, whenever a bank extends more credit to you and you use that credit to buy your groceries, clothing, whatever, you're using the bank's money and then you pay back your bill from your checking account later on. So the banks want to see your income. That way it tells them that you are not going to be a super high risk customer and you'll be able to pay back your bill. So if you've gotten, for example, a new job, a pay increase, maybe you have a side job that took off a little bit, now you have more money, whatever you're currently making, you want to make sure that it's accurate and up to date. That way the banks can use that in your favor and hopefully approve your request. Now, the way to update your income online will look a little different from one bank to another because every portal it's different. But here with Citi, here's an example screenshot from my own dashboard. You'll typically find this under the profile section of your account. So I clicked on the profile icon there in the top right screen, the menu appeared, and then I selected income information. The next screen that appeared then showed 3 different lines here. The first one was to update my total annual income. You can click on edit, type in whatever it is for you. Then below that, you can type in any non-taxable annual income that you may have. That is typically an optional field here. And then we also have your monthly mortgage or rent payment because that tends to be the biggest expense for most people. So the bank wants to see how much money do you have left over after paying that big expense. So update those types of things. Then I'll click on my info is correct and then I'm good to go. Many banks may allow you to update your income during the actual application process for a credit limit increase. So if you don't do it beforehand, you may still have the opportunity, but just in case you don't, I like to do that up front to make sure I lock in my current income rate. And it should come as no surprise to all of you that you want to have that income figure be as large as possible. So with Capital One on their blog/site, they have a great Q&A section about a lot of different topics, one of which says, if somebody else pays my expenses, can I include that in my income amount? The answer is yes, as long as you are at least 21 years old and that income is regularly used to pay your expenses. If you're under 21 years old, however, you may only include your own income or income from somebody else if it's regularly deposited into your bank account or into an account that you share with this person. Step number 3, pay off or at least pay down as best you can your debt levels. A current utilization under 30% is good. The lower, the better. And this is going to be per card that you have and across all of your cards. So when I got that approval for the CLI you saw in the intro of this video, that was for my Citi Double Cash card. I applied or requested for that on April 25th, and I was actually approved the same day. And my actual stats for utilization for that request were as follows here. My current balance was $607.40. To calculate my utilization, I divided that by my current credit limit on that account, which was $7,000. I took that result, multiplied it by 100 to convert it to a percent, and that gave me my current utilization of 8.68%. That was well below the general guideline of being under 30% or so I felt great about going into that. But why not have it be 0%? Well, I've actually gotten approvals for CLIs at 0% utilization, but I wanted to show a little bit of use, at least to show Citi that, hey, I want to use your product. And that leads us to our next little step here, which is to actually use your card. That is specifically the one on which you want to get a CLI. And to illustrate this a little bit for you and give you a small peek into my personal world, here's a screenshot of my transaction history, as much as that could fit on the screen for my Citi Double Cash card. So as early as April 8th, I was at, CNBC, so probably one of the newsstands in an airport on a trip, and I was doing transactions regularly all the way through April 19 and pretty much up to my credit limit increase, showing Citi that I'm using their product on a regular basis. Therefore, when I request a limit increase, they can see that I'm engaged with their card. Crucially though, I was not maxing out my card. That's why I would not want to show like 50% utilization or 100% or anything like that to make it look like on paper that I was desperate for more credit. I don't want to ever look like a big risk on paper, rather like someone who's responsible, will use the product as intended, and has minimal risk of defaulting. By the way, if you want to learn more about any of the cards mentioned in this or in other videos, check out my site, markscreditcards.com/offers, to see a bunch of them organized by category. That way it's easy for you to find the ones that interest you the most. Then step number 5, which is the most fun of all, is to make the request for your credit limit increase. You can do this online with a lot of banks or even via phone by calling the number on the back of your card. Fortunately, a lot of the major banks offer the ability to do so directly online. That way you don't have to wait forever on the phone for an agent to help you out. So with at least 4 of the major issuers, I'm quickly going to breeze through where to find this in the menu. That way you can do it yourself today if you want to. Starting here with American Express. So here's a screenshot from my actual account. What you want to do once you've logged in, first of all, in the top right-hand corner, click on the card that you want to get your limit increased on. So I selected, for instance here, my Blue Cash Everyday. Then up at the top, I clicked on Account Services. Below that, you then want to choose Payment and Credit Options. On the next page, scroll down to the Credit Limit section, and you'll see a blue hyperlink that says Request Credit Limit Increase. Now, American Express is very unique in the way that they allow you to have some control over your request. Rather than just blindly submitting it and hoping they give you some random amount that you may or may not be aware of, you actually provide in the text field here on this next screen what you want your limit to be increased to. So it shows you, please specify your desired credit limit, and the increments are in basically $100 at a time. So my current credit limit, as you can see, it shows you what it is, $9,000. My available credit, which is what I have left to spend, was $9,100 because I had a credit balance on my account. I did a return for some merchandise. But regardless, I could type in, for instance, $12,000 here. Pro tip. A lot of people have shown very successful data points of asking up to triple your initial credit line for a new account. You may want to wait at least 3 months before you make the request, or per my general recommendation, around 6 months or so if you want to be super safe about it. But I could, for example, let's say I was approved for $3,000 when I first opened the card. I could go multiply it by 3 and say, hey, I want it to be $9,000. Or if I got approved for $5,000, $15,000. Of course, there's no guarantee of an approval for that amount, but within triple of your initial line tends to be a pretty safe ask overall. And then a final line here, which Amex gives you to type in any total assets. Again, that's optional, but if you had some additional part of your net worth you wanted to include there to, again, show that you're going to be a low risk, you could also include those. Finally, click on the blue submit button and hopefully get that approval. Moving on to our next issuer here, which will be Chase. To begin, of course, log into your online account and choose the card on which you want to request your CLI. So I chose for this example, my Freedom Flex card. When the little side menu or window pops up, be an option for More. Click on More, a drop-down menu appears, then select Request a Credit Limit Increase. For some reason, Chase then gives you all of your cards again, so scroll down to the one you want, in this case Freedom Flex, and click on Choose this card. The next screen will then appear with a couple fields to fill out. The first is your total gross annual income, and the second is your monthly mortgage or rent payment. So type those in, then click on the next button below that. And of course, if you want to read what is total gross annual income to understand what constitutes that, there's some great text that explains everything for you to go through as well. Now, next screen is just a simple verification. Does everything look okay to you? Again, the info that you typed in, you can go back and change it if you made a typo. Otherwise, click on submit and hopefully you get the green light and that approval. Our third issuer is going to be Citibank. So again, log into your portal here. This time you'll click on the Services tab there at the top horizontal menu. When the drop-down appears, click on Credit Card Services. The next screen will then show an option under Card Management to request a credit limit increase. There are a few very simple steps to complete. The first one here is to select your card. So I chose my Citi Premier in this instance. It shows me my current credit limit so I know where I'm starting. And then below that, you will type in your annual income in a dollar figure. And then of course, again, if some of it is tax exempt, click the little box there. That's optional. And then below that, finally, you will have your monthly mortgage or rent payment again. Once you click on the blue next button, you'll then have one more chance to confirm and verify everything that you typed is correct. If it all looks good, you've got another blue button to select that says submit. So give it a go, and I wish you the best for getting that approval. In fact, with Citi here, as I was taking all these screenshots, I went all the way through with this one because I haven't asked for an increase on this account since like 2018. So I gave it a shot and I got approved as well for another $2,000 on this account. So I went from 5,100 to 7,100, which felt great. And lastly, we have Capital One. Log into your account, choose the account you want to increase. In this case, I'm choosing my Venture One account, and you'll notice on the far right-hand side, there's an option that says I want to. Click on that tab, then a little pop-up window appears, and the very bottom under offers and upgrades gives you the ability to select request a credit line increase. You'll then see another pop-up window, which is quite a bit longer than the other issuers, but it's all very simple again. So you'll have to type in here your annual income, your employment status, the occupation that you're in, the mortgage or rent payment that you're making right now, how much you will spend each month on this credit card, your maximum desired line. Don't put $1 million, although that would be nice, but do something reasonable. Again, with Amex, we said around triple your initial starting line. So be reasonable here, but make it worth your while too. And then below that here, we also have, why are you requesting a credit line increase? Almost giving you the sense like you're kind of talking or negotiating with a live agent. But again, super simple. Click on the drop down. Here are the options that you will see. I have a large upcoming one-time purchase. I expect even higher expenses over the next few months. My current line doesn't meet my long-term spending needs. Something that is totally other, or I prefer not to answer if you want to be on stealth mode. Once complete, then click on submit and good luck. As you've seen, requesting a credit limit increase is a very straightforward and simple process, but I'm going to add a few extra steps here to make sure that you're the most informed out of all your friends. So step number 6 here is to check for hard pull versus soft pull. That is, if the website doesn't say, also be sure just to call and ask if you're curious. I'm pleased to say that Citi is very transparent about this. Right here through their process, they even have a line that says, we will not obtain a credit bureau report, which means no hard pull, to evaluate your request. And you will receive a decision instantly. Not every bank may show you this on their online process. So again, call and ask if you need to know, because for example, if you're going to go buy a house, you want to avoid hard inquiries or changes to your score until that process is complete. Any possible negative effect to your score, however, due to a new inquiry will be temporary, however. Step number 7, which is a great alternative to requesting a CLI, or if you get denied for one, is to become an authorized user. Again, what I mean by that is on someone else's account. And that's a good option if that other person has a card with a high limit, positive credit history, and a strong credit score. I mention all of those things because remember, once you become an authorized user on someone else's card account, those types of things or data will be shared on your report. Therefore, you want to make your selection of the person very wisely. And step number 8, which is again a great alternative if you get denied for a credit limit increase, or if you simply don't want to do one, you can of course apply for a new credit card altogether. This will increase your total credit with a specific bank. It will increase your total credit across all of your bank accounts on your overall credit report, and also give you, again, a good alternative if you're denied for a previous request. And let's not forget how great it is when a new account also has some sort of welcome offer for you to take advantage of as well. All right, to bring this video in for a landing, let's answer the final question here of why bother requesting a credit limit increase in the first place. There are kind of two different ways or lenses through which you can look. The first is to increase your limit on an individual card, and the second is to increase your total limit across all of your card accounts. In other words, how much total credit do you have in your name on your report that you can access? You may recall that there are 5 major factors that make up your credit score, one of which is credit utilization. That's also called amounts owed, by the way, and that single factor makes up 30% of your credit score. Now that's different than having 30% utilization, by the way. What we're saying here is that different factors have a stronger weight on your score than other factors. Now, to make this crystal clear for you all, let's go through a couple scenarios. Scenario 1, let's say you have a $530 balance on your credit card, and that card has a limit of $1,000. Let's divide 530 by 1,000. To get to a percent, we multiply by 100, and we get the result of 53% utilization. That is bad for your credit score. Scenario 2, let's say you have the same balance, $530 charged to your card, but now you have a $10,000 limit. Do that division there, multiply by 100, and now we have a much lower 5.3% utilization, which is much better for your score. And when it comes to maintaining utilization in a healthy range for your score, again, it matters based on an individual basis per card and total across all of your cards. So that would be all of your balances added up, divided by all of your limits added up, times 100, and then get that result. So rather than having to constantly be making multiple payments throughout the month to keep your utilization down and worrying about that to help your score get higher, having the long-term plan of getting higher and higher limits so that way your utilization from your normal spend stays within a good range on its own is a much greater place to be. And since we only covered one factor making up 30% of your score today, if you want to learn what constitutes the other 70% of your score and to get yourself on the path to reaching the coveted 800 score, watch this video next, which will be a super helpful guide to you. Otherwise, you can also click on this icon here to view my site, markscreditcards.com/offers, to view some great credit card options organized by category to help you easily find the ones that interest you the most. Wherever you decide to click next is in your control. I'll see you there.